What is up, everybody? Welcome to Jamestown. I'm James, and today I have a very special guest interview for you guys. She's a very good friend of mine and a business partner. Her name is Jessica Lauren Vine. And make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video because we have a very big special announcement for you guys. A little bit about my and Jessica's relationship. We met on Instagram, and she actually paid for me and my girlfriend to go all the way to Las Vegas to attend Ryan Pineda's Tykes Real Estate Summit, which was the first event I ever went to. Hugely generous of her, and she is a very amazing flipper down in Knoxville, Tennessee. She's currently working on her 6th flip. She hasn't even been doing it for a year yet, so she's absolutely killing it. So make sure you guys stick around and absorb all of the amazing value that she's about to bring to this interview. Let's get into it. All right, Jessica, so how are you doing today?
Hey, I can't complain, my friend. Getting to hang out with you and Halia, it always makes me super happy.
Us too. So why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, talk about your flips a little bit and what you got going on.
Sure, yeah. So I'm totally new at flipping. Less than a year. So having 6 makes me sound like I'm a little crazy because most people are like, oh, what the heck? Like you should just like finish 1 and see if you screw up, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, let's just do 6 and see what happens. And we've got one that's about to close in like 2 weeks from now. So that one will be like the first one we can actually like show from top to bottom all of our numbers and stuff like that. But it's a little, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little scary to play with all these big numbers and other people's money and all this stuff. But I'm excited and glad we met because of this.
So obviously I mostly do wholesaling, as you know, and you've wholesaled a little bit as well, I know. But have you bought any of these flips that you're currently working on from wholesalers?
So flips 5 and 6, they're actually like a combo. They were on one parcel, and so we're having to subdivide them. And this was from a wholesaler. I'd actually met him through Facebook, and he tried to sell me like another deal in a town that I was like, no, I'm not really like interested in going over there. But like one thing that I liked about what he did was he's like, okay, well, let's find a solution. You don't like that town? What about this town? So that was kind of cool. This was a good experience.
And how much did you end up paying him for his assignment fee?
So this one was interesting. Okay, so talk to him. Yeah, I'm like, you know me. I'm always like putting the pieces of the puzzle
Got
together.
something crazy going on.
Something crazy all the time. Okay, so this town, I was like, this could be a good deal, but I don't personally want to go down there, manage the project. I don't want to, I don't want to buy it myself. So I was just like, dude, I can co-wholesale this with you. But then the buyer ended up being like, will you stay in the deal with me? So I'm like, okay, so it's like I'm flipping the house and I got a wholesale fee from it as well. So I'm like, okay, so I'm technically like paying the wholesale fee to myself, to him. Yeah. So I ended up making like a $12,000 wholesale fee. So we split 60 and I got 40. And I made sure that the buyer knew like, hey, I'm getting paid on the front end of this, just so you know, so they wouldn't think I was being shady or anything.
Was he pissed?
No, he's like, oh, good, because I told him I was like, I don't want to go down there. I actually connected him with one of my really good friends that has rentals down there, and I was like, I'll connect you guys. My friend's name's Chris. I was like, I'll have you connect with Chris. He can do the work on the house and manage it. All you have to do is get the loan and bring the money. And so they were happy, but both of them were like, please let us pay you to just kind of stay in this kind of like a consultant role. So I was like, all right, well, if you guys at least make $50,000 on the deal to split, then whatever's over that, like you can pay me $5,000, and then the rest over that, you guys can split the rest of that. And they're like, let's do it. So $17,000 will be what I take away from this deal.
And all you basically did was connect all the pieces for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's freaking awesome. You pulled value out of, in a way, some people might have just been like, this is a dead deal, or I'll just assign it, and you just kept finding value and pulling it out.
Yeah, Creativity is one of my strong points. I'm very grateful for that.
Networking is your superpower. Above anything else I've ever seen from anybody, when you took us to Vegas, everybody knew who the hell you were. Everybody. Oh, that's Jessica. That's Jessica. The people that live in Alaska, haven't seen sunlight in years, knew who you were. It was crazy.
Well, dude, I love people. I enjoy people and good people only. Bad people.
Yeah.
We've already
yeah,
talked
we
about
talk about that all the time. You got to surround yourself with the right ones. Tell me about the wholesale deals that you've actually done personally yourself.
So that last one was kind of like a hybrid, but like the first one that I did, it's also like a more creative way of wholesaling. Like, you know, a lot of times it's like cold call off market leads and grab them off there and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm not good at that. Like, I see your videos where you're like on the phone chatting with the sellers, doing all that. I like, my hands start sweating and I'm like, I'm glad it's you, man. I'm glad it's you. So I'm like, no. So how this one happened, like here in Knoxville, Tennessee, like it's still a pretty hot market and like people are buying a lot. Flippers like are looking for deals. And one of my friends, Ruben from California, he was like, yeah, I want to flip a first house. Like he's wanting to build Airbnb portfolios as well. And I'm like, well, I don't know anything about Airbnb, but I can help you find a flip here. And like, instead of being like, I'm going to find the deal first, I found the buyer first. And then I went on like the MLS and like found an on-market deal and like worked that and also worked with a realtor and like I was kind of, again, like advisory and like boots on the ground kind of mix. And then we got it under contract and then he just paid me like a fee outside of escrow and everything of $10,000.
So you didn't have to actually assign it or anything?
Mm-mm.
It was more like a finder's fee situation?
Yeah, we just had a JV deal written up. Like it said something like your responsibility as a JV partner is to find the deal, vet the deal. Like I used the deal calculator from Wealthy Investor, showed all the numbers, like met with contractors, met with lenders. So it was like a lot.
Oh, you earned that money, so you did a lot, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot, but I'm like, I don't know. I love helping people, and half the time I do that kind of shit for free. And I'm like,
right.
Hell, yay, I'm getting paid.
How many hours do you think like you put into coordinating that deal to make that 10 grand? Like actual work hours?
Okay, so that one, probably a bit. Because, Ruben, if you're watching this, you know you were freaked out trying to get all that loans from that damn Kiavi and that stuff. I was like, don't go through Kiavi. There's pieces of... Sorry, Kiavi, if you're listening, but their underwriting process was terrible. Like it was just disastrous. Like I pulled that deal from the brink of destruction, as well as the agent that was helping me on it. Like I don't know, a lot of times because we kept having to get extensions on the loan.
Right.
Like weird shit. The lender was like, you can't have an easement on the title, and we're like, motherfucker, the goddamn people need to drive to their house. They can't take the easement off the title. Like,
right. Yeah.
So it was crazy, but yeah, for hours, I mean, dude, I don't even know. Like, if you have a lot, I mean, probably, I would estimate like 50.
50 hours, so like a solid work week, yeah.
Yeah. For 10K, that's not too bad.
It's definitely worth 10 grand, that's for sure. Okay, so that one was also a pretty complicated deal. What about your other wholesale deal?
I think that's all I've done.
Oh, you only did those two?
For wholesale. Yep.
And how did you like it? I mean, obviously it's quicker cash than, a flip.
So, I thought I was gonna be out of the second one and be like, all right, don't have to deal with it. So, like, that's what I liked about the first one. Because it's like, okay, cool, like Ruben's dealing with it now, like I don't have to deal with GCs or construction or whatever. Like, of course we're still talking and he's telling me how's it going,
right.
But it's not on me. I'm like, man, that sucks this is going on with you, or oh, that's awesome that you're winning, or whatever it might be, but it's not my emotional roller coaster.
Right, it's not your name on loans and your credit at stake and all of those types of things.
Yeah, which only 2 of my flips have my LLC on it because I JV and use other people's credit and money most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the smart way to go. I mean, you have a lot of balls for a woman, especially, but to start out in flipping, I was scared to start out flipping because A, my credit sucked, and B, I didn't have any money. But you didn't really start with, like, I don't know, did you have a bunch of money when you first started flipping?
So whenever we started, we had just sold our house, which was a little crazy. Most people would say, "It's like, oh, we like where we live, but hey, we're gonna make $135,000 profit, and we're going to not have to pay taxes on it because it's been over 2 years. So yeah, sure, let's go rent an expensive ass place and pay more money and have some cash and start in real estate. Why not?" So that's probably not where most people would do that, but we don't do normal shit anyway. But yeah, so we had profited 135,000, but
Whew.
like that's awesome. That was enough to get me to be like, okay, real estate. Like I just bought this house like 2 years ago. Okay, I understand appreciation and equity now, and like it was kind of getting my wheels turning. But I remember when we joined Wealthy Investor, and I like had my first call with Brian Davila. He's like, so what are you wanting to do? Are you wanting to wholesale or flip? And I'm like, oh yeah, we're definitely flipping. I'm not wholesaling. I'm not cold calling people. I'm not doing door knocking or whatever the hell else has to happen. I don't even know what you have to do, but I'm not doing it. And he was like, if you know him, he's like very like direct and not super tactful. Sorry, Brian. And he was just like, you don't have enough money to flip. And I was like, dude, I just told you I have like $70,000 that is like designated towards we are going to flip. And he's like,
Right.
that's nothing.
Oh, man.
I was like, I've never had this much money in my bank account before. What are you talking about? This is amazing. I was like, this is twice my personal income from last year. That's awesome. And I was like, oh yeah, he's from Vegas, or no, he lived in Cali at the time. I was like, oh yeah, he's from Cali. So I was like, the medium home price around here is about $300,000, and he was like, still, so what? Like $70,000 is nothing. You're gonna have things that come up and like all that. And I was just like, I told you I'm not wholesaling.
So he was trying to push you into start out wholesaling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I had to because I had no money. And I guess now that I'm in my first flip, like, I figured out you can do it with no money. Like, I can do it with no money. I am doing it without any of my own money. So I just didn't have the tools to really figure that out. So I was like, I'm just going to wholesale, build up some money, and then go into it. But, I mean, shit, you had the confidence to just step right into it. And did your $70,000 take you? Obviously, it took you far enough because you're on your sixth flip, so.
Yeah, so the first one, so the lender that I use here, like they will fund like 100% of the purchase price and 100% of the rehab, as long as it's both of them are underneath 75%, or I think it's 70%. And so this
of the ARV?
Yep, of the ARV. So I was like, okay, well all I gotta do is find a really good deal. How hard can it be? Like,
No, yeah.
And like I didn't know any better, because now all I hear is people saying like the hardest part is finding the deal. You can find the money anywhere, but I didn't know that. So I was like, of course somebody's gonna be wanting to sell some little piece of shit for cheap. Like,
Right.
So that's where my mindset was when I started out, and that's how like I was able to like negotiate down and get that house for within that. And I think we brought like $12,000 like cash into the closing table. So I was kind of like, forget you, Brian. I didn't need
Yeah, that's
$7,000
nothing. You could have got into like 5 flips for $12,000 each. So.
Yeah. Well, the next one, however, like I was looking, I was like, okay, the profit looks good, the money looks good, or whatever. But like, there's little things that you don't think about when you're first getting started. Like, what if the appraiser doesn't agree with your ARV? What if there's stuff that you don't think about? So like we, on our second flip, we were thinking, all right, we're going to go in there. We're going to make this, it was a 3-2. And we're like, we're gonna make this a 4-3, and it's gonna be great. And we could have done it, but whenever we got our sub 2 appraisal, they're like, your ARV is gonna be $330,000, and I'm like, there is no way. I was like, we're adding this bedroom, we're adding this bathroom, but if the neighborhood doesn't support it, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So I didn't know that. So I was like, kill the bedroom, kill the bathroom. So yeah, like we had to do that. That deal almost fell through because they're like, okay, if you're like nervous about what your plan is already, like what if you're not going to go through with it? I was like, no, it's your appraisal that screwed things up.
Right.
I was like, so that's the only reason we're changing it, because this value add that I thought was going to add that value is not. We're actually going to lose money because we do that. So, like, I had to explain that to him because he was like, yeah, it's a red flag and all this. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, that's a lot. Shit.
That was super scary. And, yeah, we ended up we had to bring like 32,000 to that one. Because it was not, like, with the appraisal and where our rehab and stuff was, we were going to have to put money into the escrow rehab. Just because the lender doesn't want you to go to the end of it and be like, oh, I'm out of money, I can't finish fixing it. They want you to keep money in the escrow, so
they want their security. Yeah. So
that was quite a ride.
But shit, man, you figured it out. But yeah, just another reason why I like wholesaling. And I mean, it sounds like you like wholesaling too. You just don't like the lead generation aspect of it.
I will dispo all day long. Like, I love doing that because I can also talk flipper language. If they're like, if they like try to start screwing around, like, oh, well, I think it's gonna be worth this. I'm gonna have this much rehab. I'm like, really? Because I can tell you exactly how you can do it for half that price, motherfucker.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, other than lead generation, you're pretty much just solving problems and dispoing it, which are both things that you like to do. So, I mean, having people bring you deals is pretty much the best way to do it then.
Dude, I would do that all day long. That's like so much more fun than flipping if you're GCing. Now, so like right now, flip 4, like my buddy Greg, he's a bomb-ass GC, and his project manager Mike also flips. Flipping amazing team. I don't have to worry about shit. Like we went over there today and like walked around, made sure the design was right, like troubleshooted some things, like, okay, how can we not move the plumbing? How can we not move the electrical? How can we save money? Just like all that kind of stuff. And then it's like, okay, cool. All right, boys, make it happen. And I don't have to worry about it because I trust them. They're like always on time. They're always like super communicative and like all that good stuff. So if you have a good team, like there's still going to be stuff that happens, like water main breaks. Like we had that on flip 3. Not fun. Had to dig up the whole front yard and mess up the nice grass. Stuff happens. In wholesaling, once you close that deal, you get paid.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's over with. Yeah. I mean, well, hey, you guys heard it. If you have good deals in Tennessee that you're trying to move, this is your lady. I'll have her information linked below, but hit her up. She'll be able to display your deals quick and easy. But yeah, I mean, going along with what you said, that's why, like, my attorney, I was on the phone with him yesterday. He's funding my whole flip, and his only concern is the contractor. He's just like, if we have a good GC, like, we're good. The deal makes sense. The numbers make sense. He's like, has no issues. He's just like, we just got to not get fucked by this guy, because we've obviously, we've never used him, either of us, but he comes highly recommended. And, you know, I vetted him to the best of my abilities, but, you know, you just never know if you're going to get screwed or not. So that's, like, literally our only concern with it. So it sounds like your guy, you said Greg, is a rock star. So hopefully this guy can be our Greg.
Yeah. I mean, if you can get all those pieces to the puzzle, like, it's Brian. I can go back to Brian, but he just gives me a hard time. He's like, oh, I thought flipping was easy, Jessica. And I'm like, no. I did not say it was easy. I said it was simple. The pieces to the puzzle are simple. It's like not rocket science. How do you flip a house? Oh no,
right.
Like, you know how to flip a house. Like you fix it, you sell it. Like,
Well, it's like all things real estate. Like wholesaling is super simple too. It's just like you get a house and you assign it to somebody else. That's it. But it's very difficult to actually go about putting all the pieces together and doing it.
yeah. And well, dude, anywhere there's people involved,
Yeah.
everything gets more complicated. There's emotions. Like, that's the big thing I think why I do not love the talking to the sellers part. I am a sucker for a story. Yeah, yeah, you know, you're like, yeah, I could see that happening. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
100%.
like, oh, I would. Okay, so this one house we almost wholesaled, and Joe's like, no, 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 we're not flipping it. No, we're not wholesaling it. No, I never want to come back here again. Like, we. So, sweetest people. This lady was so nice, and they were having to sell it because they were like, she and her husband were getting divorced, and we went into the house, and immediately, poof, cat urine right in your face. Like, there ain't no guessing what's happening. Like, the floor squishing when you walk on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, like the carpet was like, yeah, it was so bad. And Joe was like, who are you gonna wholesale this to? A sadist? Like, no. But like, her story, like, I felt for her, and so I was like, well, let's see how much we can get her and stuff like that. And Joe's like, this is not how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, you want to be helping them, but at the same time, I mean, look at us with Paula. You know, for those of you that don't know, we had a mobile home we were trying to wholesale together in Knoxville. And you know, we were trying to help this lady out. She got screwed on her mobile home loan, and she was just way behind, and it was just impossible. And we spent hours on the phone together, problem solving, trying to help her, even when she didn't want to be helped, almost. And like, it was such a pain in the butt, and we ended up not being able to help her because her son got in her ear, and you know, it just became too hectic. But I mean, yeah, sellers can definitely pull at your heartstrings sometimes, and there's sometimes people you want to go above and beyond to help, which is a good thing, but not at a detriment to, you know, your own time and your own money.
Yeah, so like, I like being on the dispo end. I prefer the homes to be vacant because this last
Yeah,
one
100%.
with 5 and 6, we're not vacant.
So you got to work around with, was it tenant occupied or owner occupied?
Yeah, so tenant occupied.
Okay, yeah,
So-
that's terrible. That one of the wholesale deals I have under contract right now in Chicago. Not only is it in the freaking ghetto, so which I didn't know when I got it under contract, but also she had, you know, 2 floors of tenants. It's not even a duplex, so that already wasn't really legal. And then they were so mean to us when we came to check out the property, and because they didn't want to move and they weren't paying their rent and they didn't care, so it was just a headache. I don't even think they've moved out still. I've had it under contract for almost 2 months, and they're about to move out soon, and we're gonna wholesale it, but it's been difficult.
Yeah, it like I was so worried. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've had to evict somebody before and go to court, and it is not fun, and I do not like it, and it hurts my soul. And like,
Yeah.
I still remember sitting next to this guy that I guess thought that I was also there getting evicted, and he was just like, these landlords are pieces of shit, and I'm like,
I'm the piece of
sorry.
shit.
I'm like, he was like, it's so nice to meet you, and I'm like, I'm just not saying nothing.
Oh, it's
I was
funny.
like, I'm glad his case is before mine. But yeah, it was like, this one turned out a lot better because the one of the tenants, like, he was actually like, hey, this is a 2-bedroom. I need a 3-bedroom, so I've been working on my credit to get out anyway. I want to buy a house. The other lady, she's moving out temporarily, and we're fixing it, and she's gonna buy it.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
So, yeah. So I was like, man, the hoops. I won an award or some shit for this deal.
You got an award, a wealthy investor,
Oh,
before,
yeah.
so you know what? It's right above you. There you go. All right, so Jessica, if you were giving advice to somebody that wanted to get started in real estate or flipping specifically, what advice would you give them?
Yeah. So, one, I would say don't try to do it alone. If I had have done my first deal alone, I would have paid $32,000 more than I did, and I would have lost a lot of money. So find whatever community it is that you like and you vibe with, and join that community and bug the shit out of your coach. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions. But also, like, everything is about people. So, like, I would highly recommend that you joint venture with someone, even if you get in there and you have to, like, say if you don't have any money and you're like, hey, I will walk the properties for you. I will, check and make sure everything's going good. Like, how can I help you? Like, to an experienced flipper, whatever you can do to start, like, getting in there, understanding the language, understanding how everything works. Like, that's going to be helpful to you. I find sometimes people are like, oh, well, I don't want to split my profit, or I don't want to work for free. Like, who likes to work for free? But it's like, you're also getting educated for free. These people are taking time to basically teach you to be their competitor,
Right.
So that's what I would say is, don't try to do it alone, and really tap into the resources around you.
Okay, yeah, 100%. That's something that took me a while to learn because I, like you had mentioned, was just I don't want to split my profits with anybody. I refused to JV with people, and now I'm just like, hey, I need some help. Hey, can you help me with this? Hey, let's work on this together, because it is simpler. You can get more deals done, and it just helps. If things go wrong, you got 2 sets of eyes and 4 hands, and just the more the merrier is the way real estate really does work.
Yep.
But all right, guys, Jessica, it was great talking to you. Guys, that was the magnificent Jessica Lauren Vine from Knoxville, Tennessee. Again, hit her up if you need anything. And if you guys enjoyed this interview, I got great news for you. Her and I are starting a podcast. So we'll be coming at you guys every couple weeks. So stay tuned for more information on when it's going to be released, and we'll be dropping real estate nuggets and sharing great stories and information for you guys, just like we did in this interview. There's also going to be an interview between Jessica and myself on her channel. So again, her information will be down below in the description, so don't hesitate to head over there, subscribe, show her some love, check out the video, and I guarantee there's a lot there for you guys to learn.
I am super excited. Whenever we came together on this idea of starting the podcast, I was like, this is going to be perfect, because we vibe so well, and we get to hang out and provide value to the community, both yours and mine. And I think it's going to go amazing, and I just can't wait to get started.
Hell yeah. So that's it, everybody. You're in Jamestown now, so relax, take some notes, and let's make some fucking money.